I first rode and reviewed an e-bike on Adventure Bike TV probably just over 2 years ago now, and now that I'm on my fourth e-bike, I thought you might be interested to see a little bit about what I think of the Whyte E160 RS and how it compared to my previous KTM Kapaho and Cube stereo. So first things first, I'm going to go through just a few of the technical specs, and I'll tell you what it's been like to ride and what it's been like to live with for the last 6 months. So in terms of the technical stuff, this bike's got a 155mm travel Fox Float Performance DPS shock, and up front a Fox Float 38 Performance 160mm fork. The engine is a Bosch Performance Line CX Generation 4 motor with 85mm of torque and Bosch 625 watt battery with the Bosch Purion display. Stopping power is courtesy of Sram Kodar brakes, and all the pushing goes through an Eagle 1052 12-speed cassette, EX1 crankset, X01 rear mech and GX single-click shifter. The weight isn't the lightest out there at just over 25 kilos or 55.5 pounds. Now, I've also got to admit that understated British racing green colour is just absolutely gorgeous. But importantly, what is it like to ride? Now, I have an admission to make. When I first rode it, I thought I may have made an absolutely massive mistake because it rode so differently to the KTM and to the Cube. Now, in many respects, that's not surprising, bearing in mind the Whyte is a 27.5-inch wheel, front and rear. The KTM had a 29 front, 27.5 on the back, and the Cube was 29er all the way round. It felt so strange at first that I was worried I'd made the wrong choice, particularly over roots and rocks. It felt twitchy and I was having to work a lot harder. But as I got used to where I needed to place my weight, that problem went away and I started to love the quicker steering. Whyte have also gone to town on lowering the centre of gravity by rotating the motor and sliding the battery alongside it. It can create some issues with getting the battery back in, but I'll live with that because it works so well in combination with the 27.5-inch wheels. Married to the combination of the Fox Float rear shock and the Fox 38 Performance forks, there's no way I'd ever go back now. The Whyte E160 has been widely recognised as a class leader, despite its rather portly weight. So rather than more feedback on the actual riding, I'm going to give you a bit of insight on what it's been like to live with over this winter. Range. Now that's always a tricky one, but I can just give you what I know. Firstly, I'm a big fella, 17 stone, so take that into account. During the muddy winter months, riding mostly in eco and maybe 15% or so at tour, I get about 20 miles or 45 kilometres. That would drop by 10 to 15% when the temperature was around or below zero. Brakes. Early feeling was fine, but within 50 miles or so, I was able to pull the levers all the way back to the handlebars, even at full adjustment. Back to the shop it went, and they bled the brakes, and they're fine now. But the feel is far more progressive than either the KTM or the Cube stereo, which took a while to get used to. Wear and tear, well, early brake pads wore through very quickly, within a few weeks actually, and I swapped the brand, and now they're much longer lasting without any loss of feel. One area where I would say it is less good in some respects than either the KTM or the Cube was in the display. It uses a Purion display and it doesn't show that much, particularly in comparison to the KTM and very much so in comparison to the Cube. I'm now on my third chain and my second cassette, which seems a pretty high level of wear for 6 months when I'm only using the bike once, maybe twice a week, 20 to 25 miles each time. But from what I've seen in the forums, other people are having pretty much the same level of wear as me. The question is, would it put me off buying one of these bikes? Absolutely not. I love this bike.